Good morning, children. Let us quickly recap whatever we have learned yesterday. We had learned about what is life process. All the activities which take place in a living organism are known as a life process, out of which we had taken the four main life process: nutrition, respiration, transportation, and excretion. And first, we have started with nutrition. Nutrition, the definitions and all, you once again recap on your own: intake of nutrients. And out of that, we had seen two major types of nutrition: autotrophic and heterotrophic. And we had started with the autotrophic type of nutrition, that is photosynthesis, which takes place in plants. And the main machinery of photosynthesis also we had started: the leaf external structure, the internal structure. And the internal structure, what are the main parts which help in the photosynthesis? We had seen the upper and lower epidermis coated with cuticle, and in between the upper and lower epidermis we have the mesophyll tissue consisting of palisade and spongy parenchyma, which are richly interspersed with scattered with chloroplast. Chloroplast is the organelle which is helpful in trapping of sunlight. And structure of chloroplast also you can refer, that is consists membrane bound organelle. In the membrane bound the cavity, we have the stroma and the grana thylakoids. Thylakoids are the sites of light reactions where they trap the sunlight, light energy, and transport and change it into chemical energy. And the stroma is a site for uh, biochemical the reactions, the dark reactions. And now the stomata. Let us come to the stomata. The structure of stomata. Stomata is it consists of a pair of bean-shaped guard cells. Guard cells control the closing and opening of the stomatal pore. The guard cells enclose the pore. That means the pores, the stomatal pore opening is present in between the two guard cells. So when the guard cells are turgid, means they are filled with water, they swell, they become bigger, and they pull, the inner walls pull outside and the pore opens. You can see the turgid guard cell, they become filled with water and the pore opens. This is when the water is available. But when the water is not available, the guard cells are flaccid, they become flaccid and they close the stomatal pore. So it's the guard cell which control the opening and closing of the stomata. And here you can see the picture. The stomata also can be a very interesting experiment. If you have of children have nail polish, nail paint, and you take a fresh leaf, and then just on the lower side of the leaf, the ventral side of the leaf, you just make a coating of the nail paint, nail polish, and then let it dry, remove it. Then you can see the impressions of the guard cells, the stomata, as seen in this first picture, first image. This image you can see, when you peel that nail paint, you can see small pores, that is stomatal structures. Then here I have given you the link for the structure of leaf. So once again, the opening and closing of the is explained. Water diffuses into guard cells which cause them to open. Water from outside diffuses into the, by diffusion it goes into the guard cells swell and they open the pore. So in the guard cells also we have chloroplasts. All around there are the cells. And on hot dry days, when there is water scarcity or less amount of water, humidity of the atmosphere is less, the guard cells has less water, so they relax and the stomata close. This is stomata open and this is the stomata closed. So there are certain factors which are necessary for photosynthesis. So factors necessary for photosynthesis means those are the essential things which are needed for the process of photosynthesis. So for this, the experiment, let us study the experiment. You have to take a potted plant having variegated leaves, croton plant which has colored patches on it. Keep it in the dark room for 3 days. For 3 days, you have to keep it in the dark room so that all the starch is used up. All the starch is used up. You have to keep it in the dark for closed room where sunlight does not enter, and keep it there. So in these 3 days, it does not prepare any starch. Starch is not prepared, but it is used up because a living thing. It's a plant is a living thing. It lives. So for all its other activities, it needs starch, that is glucose. सो इट यूजेस अप ऑल द स्टार्च. जो भी स्टार्च प्लांट में अंदर है वो पूरा यूज़ हो जाता है और प्लांट में बिल्कुल स्टार्च नहीं है. सो नाउ यू हैव टू टेक इट आउट. बाहर लेके सनलाइट में फॉर 6 आवर्स एक्सपोज करना है. वो जो प्लांट जो अंदर था अभी डार्क रूम में, उसको बाहर निकाल के सनलाइट में फॉर 6 आवर्स रखना है. देन take a leaf from the plant and mark the green areas of the leaf on a sheet of paper. So the green areas and non-green areas. Croton plants are beautiful plants which are kept for ornamental purpose, to beautification. So you have to mark the green areas and the non-green areas. Then you have to do the starch test. Starch test, children, you should learn it very well. For all the 3 experiments, we have to do the starch test. How to do the starch test? First of all, the leaf. अभी जो लीफ प्लांट को बाहर रखा गया 6 घंटे के लिए, उसमें से एक लीफ निकालना है और you have to take the leaf and put it in boiling water. You have to keep that in boiling water to make it soft. Then the leaf has to be taken and it has to be dipped in alcohol and in a water bath. Not directly alcohol, but in a water bath. Dip the leaf in boiling water for a few minutes. After this, immerse the beaker containing alcohol. So you have to take a water bath directly. अगर alcohol को heat किया जाए, then you know there will be a blast. So you have to heat alcohol in a water bath. Water bath means double boiler. एक बर्तन होगा, उसमें वाटर होगा, उसके उस वाटर में एक और बर्तन में थोड़ा सा अल्कोहल लेके उसमें लीफ डाल के हीट करना है. सो डबल बॉयलर और वाटर बाथ टू डीकलराइज इट. व्हाई डू वी कीप द लीफ इन अल्कोहल? अल्कोहल में क्यों डाला जाता है? ताकि जो भी क्लोरोफिल है वो पूरा डिजॉल्व होके निकल जाए. नाउ द लीफ विल बी नॉट ग्रीन, फुल्ली इट विल बी वाइट. Then wash the leaf in water and dip it in dilute iodine solution. Or you can with a ड्रॉपर के ज़रिए 1-2 ड्रॉप हम लोग ड्रॉप भी कर सकते हैं उस लीफ. सो व्हाट आर वी डूइंग? फर्स्ट टेकिंग द लीफ, boiling in water, then take it out, then put the leaf in alcohol in a water bath. Why alcohol? To remove the chlorophyll. Then wash the leaf, put a few drops of iodine solution, and iodine solution will turn to blue black in the presence of starch. जिस भाग में स्टार्च है उसी भाग ब्लू ब्लैक होंगे. बाकी जो स्टार्च नहीं है, नहीं प्रिपेयर हुआ, वो ब्लू ब्लैक नहीं होंगे. डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट? स्टार्च टर्न्स आयोडीन इनटू ब्लू ब्लैक और ब्लू आयोडीन टर्न्स ब्लू ब्लैक इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ स्टार्च. अभी जो लीफ हम लोगों ने लिया है उसमें से कुछ भाग ग्रीन है और कुछ भाग नॉन ग्रीन और एनी अदर कलर है. तो जो ग्रीन पार्ट जो था, जो जिसमें क्लोरोफिल है, दैट पार्ट ओनली टर्न्स इनटू ब्लू ब्लैक. यू कैन सी इन द diagram. Green patch, chlorophyll present. Pale yellow, no chlorophyll present. Then after test, non-chlorophyll patches remain brown, whereas chlorophyll part will turn into blue black. This shows that chlorophyll is essential for photosynthesis. This is one factor for photosynthesis. This is a very important experiment, and in that the questions are why alcohol is used, why the leaf is dipped in water, and then why the plant is kept in dark room for 3 days. Why it is kept? To remove all the starch. जो पहले से बना स्टार्च उसको कम्प्लीटली यूज़ अप करने के लिए 3 days डार्क में लाना है. उसके बाद वो स्टार्च फ्री है. देन इट हैज़ टू बी केप्ट इन सनलाइट. व्हेन यू कीप इन सनलाइट, ग्रीन पार्ट्स जो है वो फोटोसिंथेसिस they do and non-green parts will not do. And then when we test it, we can see that the green parts synthesize starch, non-green parts do not synthesize starch. Then we have to check for another factor. Carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Experiment to show that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. Similarly, you have to take two potted plants of the same size and keep them in dark room for 3 days. Why 3 days in dark room? To remove the starch. Then keep the plants in separate. You have to take um, then keep the plants on separate glass plates. Keep watch glass containing some potassium hydroxide near one plant to absorb carbon dioxide. Cover both the plants with bell jars and seal the bottom of the jars with Vaseline to make it airtight. Keep the plants in sunlight for 3 hours. Then take a leaf from each plant and test for starch. So this experiment is also known as Moll's half-leaf experiment. Here what we are doing is taking a potted plant, keep it in dark, then remove it for 3 days, then take it out, and when you take it out, one of the leaf has to be kept inside a jar, bell jar, and that jar contains potassium hydroxide, and you have to seal the cork with Vaseline so that outside air does not enter into the room. And in KOH, why KOH is taken? To remove, absorb all the carbon dioxide that is present in the jar. जार में जितना कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है वो KOH एब्जॉर्ब करके केमिकल रिएक्शन होता है, और जार में बिल्कुल कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड नहीं है अभी. बाहर का जो पोर्शन है, यहाँ जो बाहर का पोर्शन है यहाँ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिलता है, लेकिन अंदर का जो लीफ पार्ट है उसको कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड नहीं मिलता है. Did you understand that point? So that leaf, half part of the leaf is within the bottle, half part of the leaf is outside the bottle. That part of the leaf which is within the bottle, उसको कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड नहीं मिलता है. बाहर का जो हिस्सा है उसको कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिलता है. Now what do you understand? After some time, after 3-4 hours of exposure to sunlight, you take the pluck the leaf. वो जो लीफ है उसको प्लग करके स्टार्च टेस्ट करना है. स्टार्च टेस्ट स्टेप्स यू नो चिल्ड्रन, दैट इज फर्स्ट बॉयल द लीफ इन hot water, remove it, then keep it in boiling water bath, alcohol in water bath, then add a few drops of iodine. Now you can see that part of leaf which is outside has turned blue black, that part of leaf which is inside has not turned to blue black, because outside part is getting carbon dioxide and it is preparing starch. Inside part not getting carbon dioxide, so not preparing starch. So from this what do you understand? Carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. And here again you have to, some questions you can frame yourself. Why KOH is taken? To absorb the carbon dioxide in the bottle. Again the same question, why the plant is kept in dark room for 3 days, that you know. And then after that, why half of the leaf is kept in a bottle and half of the leaf is outside. That also says that half leaf is control, means it's getting the carbon dioxide, inside the half leaf will not be getting carbon dioxide. And one precaution you have to take is the leaf should not be dipped in the KOH. So in between, before we going to the nutrition in other animals, one more experiment. If you see your textbook page number 97, based on the two activities performed above, we have to design an experiment to demonstrate that sunlight is essential for photosynthesis. The images for this experiment I will send you on the WhatsApp group, but let us discuss that. What we have to do is take a potted plant in the same way, keep it in the dark room for 3 days, then take it out, then select one leaf, one healthy leaf. On that healthy leaf you fix a light screen. Light screen means any black thick paper. fix it with the help of clips on the leaf. That means that part of the leaf covered by light screen is not getting light. So एक लीफ को लेना है, उसके ऊपर एक थिक ब्लैक पेपर कवर कर देना है, क्लिप्स के ज़रिए उसको फिक्स करना है. नाउ कीप इट इन द सनलाइट. व्हेन यू आर कीपिंग इन द सनलाइट, वो जो लीफ है, बाकी जो भाग अनकवर्ड है, जो कवर नहीं है, उसके ऊपर सनलाइट is falling, but that part which is covered with black paper is not getting sunlight. So keep it for 3-4 hours in the sunlight, then pluck that leaf and then test for starch. Test for starch, again steps: boil in water, then boil in alcohol in water bath, then add a few drops of iodine. What we observe? We observe that जो पार्ट लाइट स्क्रीन के द्वारा कवर्ड है वहाँ ब्लू ब्लैक नहीं होता, लेकिन बाकी जो दो भाग हैं वो ब्लू ब्लैक टर्न होते हैं. दैट शोज दैट लाइट नहीं मिला, इसीलिए फोटोसिंथेसिस नहीं हुआ. सो दैट पार्ट्स विच आर नॉट गेटिंग लाइट do not prepare sunlight. So what we conclude from this experiment? Sunlight is essential for photosynthesis. So important factors we have seen: carbon dioxide is essential, chlorophyll is essential, light is essential for photosynthesis. Now one more experiment we can discuss is oxygen is evolved during photosynthesis. How can we say that oxygen is evolved during photosynthesis? For this experiment we need a beaker 3/4 filled with water, then a few leaves of hydrilla plant, a few twigs of hydrilla plant. Hydrilla plant is a water plant, aquatic plant. You have to keep it inside the water, then cover it with a funnel. Funnel, all of you know, it's a conical structure with a stem. Then this setup, and on the stem of the funnel you insert, you have to put a test tube on that, on the stem of the funnel, and then keep it in the sunlight. After some time we observe that bubbles of gases are coming out of the plant into the, and they are being collected in the test tube upside down, and then let it happen for some time, 1 hour or 2 hours. After that, take the test tube very carefully out without allowing the gas to escape. Then take a matchstick, light the matchstick, and then put it off. Then वो जो थोड़ा सा स्पार्क रहता है ना वो मैचस्टिक में, उसको लेके वो माउथ ऑफ द टेस्ट ट्यूब पर दिखाना है. देन वी सी द बर्निंग मैचस्टिक विल बस्ट इनटू फ्लेम. फिर से फ्लेम आ जाता है. दैट शोज दैट द गैस दैट इज रिलीज्ड इज oxygen. So this is a test for oxygen. A burning splinter bursts out into flame. That is a test for oxygen. That shows that oxygen is evolved during photosynthesis. So for photosynthesis we need the important things: water, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, sunlight. Raw materials are carbon dioxide and water. The accessory helping agents which are very essential are chlorophyll and sunlight. And water, from where does the water come into the plant, children? From the soil through the roots. And water is used in photosynthesis, is taken up from the soil by the roots in plants, terrestrial plants, that is land plants. Along with water, other materials like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron are also taken up from the soil. Nitrogen is very essential for proteins and other compounds, and it's also taken in the form of nitrates and nitrates. And sometimes it is also fixed by bacteria by the process known as nitrogen fixation. So now heterotrophic nutrition. We will start with the heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition already discussed. It is other dependent on other organisms directly or indirectly. That is heterotrophic nutrition. So for heterotrophic nutrition, an organism has to struggle, or it has to do some activity to get that food. So the form of nutrition differs depending on the type and availability of food material, as well as how it is obtained by the organism. How an organism obtains the food is also very important. For example, stationary, suppose the food is stationary, the plant is there in one place, it will not run away. So the animals, they go to that plant and they don't have to run after or chase the food. They just walk to the plant or grass and eat it. Whereas let us consider the other animals like lion or a tiger. They have to chase and capture the organism, that is a food, prey. The food they eat is known as a prey. So they have predator and prey. The lion is the predator, lion and tiger, they are the predators, and the food, the deer, that is the prey. They have to make some effort, they have to go to that, and then they uh, capture it and eat. Then there is a range of strategies by which food is taken in and used by the organisms. So after the food is obtained, the how they utilize it is also, there are several methods. Some organisms break down the food materials outside the body and then absorb it, like for example fungus and all. Already we have discussed fungus and like bread molds, yeast and mushrooms. They release enzymes that breaks down the food outside the body, and then they absorb it by the means of their hypha and mycelium. Then some organisms directly they swallow the food and then they digest it, like for example a snake or a frog, or we human beings, we just ingest the food. After that it is masticated, and we'll go to that in the later part. Some other organisms derive nutrition from plants or animals without killing them. This parasitic nutritive strategy is used by a wide variety of organisms like Cuscuta, Amarbel. So, when I have talked about the parasitic mode of nutrition, we will go to that. So, the Cuscuta plant, I think yesterday I have shown you the picture. They have roots, sucking roots, Hausteria. They don't kill the organism, they just suck the food from the plant, the host. Then come to the how do organisms obtain the nutrition. The first thing that is, we are going to discuss about amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular protozoan animal living in water, aquatic. It takes food by forming finger-like projections called pseudopodia and form a food vacuole. So you can see the picture. Food particle is near the organism. After that, finger-like projections, pseudopodia are formed, and the pseudopodia engulf the food particle, and then after that a food vacuole is formed, and inside the food vacuole enzymes are released and the food is digested. After the digestion, the food is assimilated by the whole body, and then the waste material is also it also comes out by means of the same way, by the through the pseudopodia. You can see in the other picture, food particle, pseudopodia engulfing the food material, then food vacuole is formed, digestion and assimilation is taking place, then the food vacuole, the egestion, the food waste material is removed. So this picture is given, and you are asked in exams, the diagram is given, and you may be asked to uh, just label the different parts here. This is an important, from examination point of view, it's an important concept. So amoeba has no specific organs or functions for nutrition. The complexity as this is a simple single cellular organism, that's why there are no complex systems. But as a complexity, as the organism becomes more and more complicated, then there are specialized system for this purpose. So amoeba takes food using temporary finger-like extensions called pseudopodia. What are the finger-like extensions of the body of amoeba required for food intake, children? It is pseudopodia. Pseudopodia. Pseudo. P is silent. Pseudo means false. Podia means foot. False feet. They are, and the pseudopodia help in even locomotion for walking. So what are the functions of pseudopodia? What are pseudopodia? What is the function of pseudopodia? These are the two important questions. One more question, that is, what is pseudopodia? Pseudopodia, the word pseudopodia has two words made up of two words, pseudo and podia. Pseudo means false, podia means foot, and pseudopodia are the structures which help in taking in food and also in the locomotion. Paramecium. If we talk about paramecium, paramecium is also a unicellular organism, and it has cilia all around it, and then there is an oral groove which opens to outside by a mouth. We can say a specific spot. Food is moved to this spot by movement of cilia. So all around its body it has cilia which help in bringing the food to it. Cilia help in case of paramecium, the cilia help in bringing the food nearer to it. There is an oral groove which opens to the outside by an opening which is called cytostome. The opening in case of paramecium is called cytostome. Through the cytostome, a specific spot, through that spot the food moves inside. Food is taken in at a specific spot. Food is moved to the spot by the movement of cilia which covers the entire surface of the cell, and the food is ingested. So this is about the two unicellular organism and how they take in food. So in case of amoeba, pseudopodia, in case of paramecium, the cilia help in bringing the food closer to its specific spot in the oral groove, and that specific spot is called cytostome. So next is nutrition in human beings. We'll just be starting with the nutrition in human beings, and after that in the next class we will deal with it in detail. So in case of human beings are the highest developed organisms in mammals. So we have a very well developed system, that is a digestive system. Alimentary canal also we call it. It's a long tube extending from the mouth to the anus, and there are various parts of the digestive system. And an important question once again, what are the various parts of a digestive system? Starting with the mouth. It starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. So you can see this is the digestive system. Starts with the mouth. The main organs of the digestive system are mouth. Then we have the buccal cavity or oral cavity that leads to the pharynx, which is a common passage of air and food. Then the esophagus, which is a tube. Then stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and rectum and anus. The main glands are, and associated with the digestive system के साथ काम करने वाले other glands, अन्य ग्रंथि हैं, salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas, and intestinal glands. So glands also help in the digestion. So here we have to first the diagram of the, you have to know the each part of a digestive system. There may be a question, they may be giving the diagram and asking you to the label the parts, and then they may be even asking for the various parts of a digestive system, or they may be giving one organ of the digestive system and asking what are the parts and what is the function. So you have to prepare accordingly. So the textbook, we have the digestive system diagram in your textbook, figure 6.6, page 99. That is a digestive system diagram in your textbook. So we'll I want all of you to read the following pages, that is from page number 95 to 99, which we had 99 or 100, because the remaining part, if you read before what the teacher teaches, it will be interesting and easy for you also. So you know something and you will be waiting what the teacher is going to tell you. If you don't know anything, whatever we say, you have to take it. So first there should be preparation from your part also. You have to also read the textbook. Read the textbook, underline the important points, make your own notes. So study or education is does not come very easy. You have to work for it. Everyone, children, teachers, everyone have to work for it. You have to, आप लोगों को टेक्स्ट बुक पढ़ना है, रेफरेंस बुक्स भी पढ़ना है, और उसके बाद नोट्स बनाना है. पहले से अगर आप थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ लेते हैं देन इट विल बी इंटरेस्टिंग. आपको इंटरेस्टिंग लगेगा. टीचर कुछ पढ़ाए हैं और हम कुछ जानते हैं, तो टीचर क्या पढ़ाने वाली है ये सब हम लोगों को माइंड में आता है एंड वी फील वेरी इंटरेस्टेड. दैट्स वाई it's a practice that all teachers tell us to read the textbook before the teacher teaches. Tomorrow I am going to teach this lesson, read it. That's what is the system. Then only teaching becomes interesting. I'll be telling something, you'll be just passively listening. It's not the correct system. So please children, read the textbook, whatever is taught up to that, and then there are some questions in between the textbook. You can see after each concept some questions are given. Those questions try to answer. Like on page number 93 there are questions. Why is diffusion insufficient to meet oxygen requirements of multicellular organisms like humans? What criteria do we use to decide whether something is alive? What are outside raw materials used for by an organism? What processes would you consider essential for maintaining life? So try to find the answers for these textual questions. Thank you, children.